Hello people, welcome to Choco Millionaire. Today I'm here with my brother from Nigeria. Sir, what is your name?
My name is Chinedu Amefule.
Chinedu Amefule. He's from Nigeria. Now, Chinedu's story, a little bit of that. Chinedu migrated to Canada last year, and when he came to Canada, he came as a permanent resident. But then he's been able to undergo a massive transformation as somebody in career. So I want him to share that story with you so that we can see what we can also learn from that. Chinedu, when did you land in Canada?
I landed exactly April 12th, 2022.
April 12th, 2022.
Yeah.
When you landed in Canada, what was your immigration status?
So I applied to the skilled worker program. So when I landed in Canada, I became a permanent resident.
You became a permanent resident. So your first day in Canada, you touched the ground as a permanent resident.
That's right.
You didn't come as a student?
No.
You didn't come as a visitor's visa holder?
No.
You didn't come as a work permit person with an LMI or without an LMI?
No.
You didn't come as a refugee?
No.
You came as a permanent resident?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Now, we're going to talk about how you qualify for that. Take us back. What's your highest level of education? Or what was the last thing you studied or school you went to in Nigeria?
So my last education, formally in an institution, was my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. But in 2019, when I was about to apply for permanent resident, I began to do research. And then when I filled the CRS ranking, I saw that with only my bachelor's degree, I won't be able to meet up with the current CRS at the time. At that time, it was around 460, 470 something. And with my bachelor's, I was just getting 440 something, And then when I now did the ranking again, I now saw that I could get some points if I take on some certifications. So when you take on some certifications and you submit to WES is the educational body that, that
World Education Services,
Services. I discovered that there is a part for 2 or more degree. So there's a bachelor's degree, and then there's 2 or more degree before master's. So when I now checked the 2 or more degree, I now emailed WES and asked them what kind of certifications qualify for 2 or more degree, because not all certifications will qualify you for that. So they replied me and listed some certifications. There was one in IT, there was one in accounting. So when I researched the two, I saw that the one in IT would take me 3 months. Like if I write it today, it will take me 3 months for my result to come out. And I wasn't patient. Everybody wants to come to Canada. So I needed something that was sharp. So I now checked the one in accounting. Unfortunately, the one in accounting is online. So when you write it, your result comes out immediately.
What course was that?
It's called CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants.
Chartered Institute of Management Accountants.
Yeah, okay. So they offer a diploma in accounting.
Diploma in accounting.
Yeah. So sorry, it's not diploma, it's certificate in
accounting. And it's globally recognized.
Globally recognized.
Okay. So
that one, when you take the exam, is 4 subjects. You have to read a lot because it's a lot, especially someone that's coming from engineering, but the result comes out immediately. It's just like your JAMB in Nigeria, you write online and then it comes out. So I read a lot and then sat for the exam, and luckily for me, I passed the 4 subjects and my result came out. Immediately I sent it to WES, in addition with my bachelor's degree, and they ranked it 2 or more degree for me. So with that, I was able to meet the CRS score at the time. And I got my ITA and then submitted my application exactly March 19th, 2020.
Wow. Okay. He threw in a lot of abbreviations, and some of you were wondering, what is this guy talking about with this and that and that? Let me quickly summarize it for you. For him to have come here as a permanent resident through the skilled worker program or the federal skilled worker program, he needed to be assessed or evaluated in terms of his global competences. That is your educational background, your age at the time you were applying or submitting your profile, creating your profile, and your career as well, and a whole lot of things. Now, he added his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering because that was what he had at the time. Now, by putting your information in, there is a way that the Canadian immigration system uses a tool to kind of assign you a score based on your overall competence, your work experience, your age, and a whole bunch of things. His point at that time was around 440. But for him to have caught the attention of the Canadian immigration, for them to give him an invitation that Chinedu, go ahead and submit your documents for us to consider you for permanent residency, he needed to have around 464 points at that time. Because that was like the minimum point that people were getting in order to be invited for permanent residence application. He had 440, so there was a gap of 24. Then he went back to the evaluator, WES, which stands for World Education Services, one of the evaluators that will evaluate your credentials when you are ready to go through this process. Then he realized that there are other professional courses that when he does, will boost his point score from 440 to a higher point. One of them was CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. It's a globally recognized certification program. It's a UK certification program. Others also do ACCA. Others also do a whole bunch of different professional courses. Now, he doesn't have the background in marketing or as an accountant. He's a chemical engineer dealing with dibutane, protein, butane, you see that? That's what the guy was dealing with. All of a sudden, he decided that, look, this is the easiest way for me to get more points. So he studied it. Now, let me ask him a bit about that. How long did it take you to sit down, get the materials, and study for that exams?
So it took me about 3 months, intense study.
Intense study. You doing your own thing at home, going through the materials, looking at past questions or sample questions, mock tests. It took you 3 months to prepare to take it. So you were waiting for 3 months.
About 5 hours every day.
5 hours every day for 3 months. You were doing that. And at this time, you were still in Nigeria.
I was still in Nigeria.
Working.
Yeah.
What were you working? Which sector were you working in Nigeria?
I was working with industrial chemicals. So I worked for a Japanese company that sells industrial chemicals to manufacturers in Nigeria.
A chemical engineering degree holder working with a Japanese company in Nigeria into industrial chemicals. And what was your position at that time?
I was a business manager.
You were in charge of business, so business manager.
Yeah.
All right. And after work, you go through the traffic and you sit 5 hours and still study this.
Yeah, I don't actually go home. So from the office, if I close work by 6, I just go to one corner in the office and I read till like 11 or 12 midnight. And because I was mobile, so I was able to drive. It was dangerous then, driving around that time of the night. But I mean, it's Lagos. Lagos, you'll still find some cars. But that was a sacrifice I was willing to put in,
Thankfully, you didn't have a girlfriend that was demanding their own time. Like they would say, honey, you've closed from work, come home now. All right, good. So you took the exams and you passed. And then you went back and quickly updated WES, World Education Services, that you have your new certification done.
Yeah.
And then what was your points now? From 440, where did you jump to?
So you jumped to 470.
So you gain an additional 30 points for your certification program that you just did.
And I was very certain that the next draw was going to get.
You were certain that the next draw, and the draws are held almost every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you've been following the Express Central program, you can tell that they're actually doing it more often now. They are not even going by the 2 weeks. In 1 week, they are doing about 2 draws, right? Inviting people from all over the world to apply. Okay, so 470, you were sure at the next draw, you were going to get an invitation from the government of Canada's immigration. Yeah. Did it happen?
It happened.
They invited you to apply. And then you went through, you submitted all your documents, proof of funds, your passport, your medicals, and all of that.
All the necessary documents.
Good. So you applied as a single guy or married?
As a single person.
Single, no attachment, no handbag.
No.
Okay, good. Then finally, it was confirmed. So you submitted it in, you mentioned the date.
March 19,
2020. That was when you submitted.
That's when I submitted
your documents.
Yes.
And when did they get back to you to confirm your PR?
That was January 2022. 2 years.
So it took, because of COVID?
Because of COVID.
So it took a while because of COVID.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then you got your PR. So you had to land. You made a decision. When did you land in Canada? You mentioned it earlier. Mention it again.
I landed April 12th, 2022.
Last year.
Last year.
So you came here, and of course, now you have a permanent residence to land in Canada. You are here. But that doesn't mean the government of Canada is going to give you a job. You had to go out there and find your own job.
Yeah.
So what were some of the options you had at that time? Did you consider going into chemical engineering? Did you consider going into... Tell me about that.
So
when you came new, what was your situation like?
When I came in, so, that's why it's always good to have a plan before you land. So before coming in, I already did a lot of research. I found out that for me to continue engineering in Canada, I would need to go through a lot of process, to convert my... To be regulated as an engineer in Canada. So I didn't have that time. I didn't have the patience. I couldn't wait, because I'm someone who likes to get things done ASAP. So IT, technology was everywhere, US, Canada, UK. So I decided to look into the tech space. And that also informed the city where I live in today, Kitchener-Waterloo, because I found out that that's the tech space in Canada. That's where a lot of startup tech companies are. So I got into Canada and I began to look for IT opportunities, learning opportunities, because I didn't know anything in IT, of course, because I'm from the engineering background. So I began to look for learning opportunities. Luckily for me, there was this bootcamp that was about to start, where they teach you on AWS cloud engineering, and I applied. Luckily for me, after going through the application and interview process, I was selected. And that bootcamp was sponsored by the government of Ontario, Canada. So I didn't need to pay any dime to be eligible to apply. I just had to go through a bit of interview process. And then I started the cloud engineering bootcamp, and it went on for 3 months. So throughout that 3 months, I was reading and studying 8 to 5 every day, trying to learn a lot of things, and luckily for me, after the 3 months, I got my first certification in cloud, which is the cloud practitioner in AWS. And after that, I went on for more learning because I saw that with the cloud practitioner, I would just be getting very basic IT roles, but I needed more. So I started to study on my own too. And in 1 month after I finished my first bootcamp, I got the second certification. It's called Solution Architect Associate. I got that in AWS. And then while going through that learning for 1 month, there's this academy called Obsidy Academy. Choco has spoken about it a lot on his channel. We are in partnership with TD. They train you to become a full stack engineer. So that was already coming on, and I was applying through a lot of bootcamp because I needed learning opportunities. So after getting my solution architect, I jumped into the next bootcamp where I was trained as a full stack engineer. And that also went on for 3 months. Meanwhile, while you're in that bootcamp, they were paying you money, $2,000 every month, because they need your attendance. It's like a full-time job, 8 to 5 every day. So you can't even work. So they give you a stipend, $2,000. And after the 3 months, that's how I joined TD Bank.
They will even give you a laptop.
A laptop, yes.
And train you. Now, how many of you remember that video I did where I said Canadian company is paying $2,000 for you to learn a particular course? That was what the brother here did.
Yeah.
He took advantage of that. TD Bank was paying him $2,000 per month for 3 consecutive months. Give him a laptop and train him to be a full stack engineer.
Yeah.
And after that, he got a job with them. But you see, the reason why I decided to speak with him today was because I want you to see what price people have to pay to find themselves in comfortable zones in countries like Canada. Did he come here as an IT guy? No. Did he study IT in school? Maybe not in detail like this. He's a chemical engineer. The man that makes chloroquine with tramadol to produce something. You see it? Yeah. But when he came here as a permanent resident, he figured out, look, he has to go through some quick transitions because he realized that IT, I would ask him, why did you decide to go into IT though?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, coming in to come and read engineering will take a lot from me because I need to be regulated in Canada to practice as an engineer, and it takes time. It really takes a lot of time. And the next thing, tech is everywhere, it's booming. There are lots of things going on in AI today, machine learning, so I took advantage of that. And I started doing my research from back home. And that's the reason why I live in Waterloo today, because I was looking for a tech city to be in.
Tech city, he carefully chose the city well. He selected a city.
Just so that I can be close to
all the
IT
tech opportunities,
yeah. So that's how I moved to Waterloo. And then I was just very lucky, and because when I came into Canada, there was a bootcamp that was just about to start. It's called Youth Employment Services. It's sponsored by the government of Ontario.
Government of Ontario.
Yeah. So immediately, because they were done with their admission process and everything. So I looked for the websites and the facility manager of that, the program manager of that bootcamp, and I emailed her. I told her that, look, I'm a new immigrant, I'm eager to learn, I need to join this bootcamp. She told me that, we are fully booked, but I can give you, but let me book you a slot for interview. So that's how I got the interview slot. We did interview process, and she was really nice, and she gave me the slot just because I'm an immigrant. She gave me the opportunity to join the program. So I joined the program actually late. I didn't start with my peers, but I was able to pick up the time.
All right. He's sharing his story with you. You may be coming in tomorrow as a permanent resident through the Express Entry program. You may even be coming as a student, coming to study in Canada. I want you to know that one of the industries that is less regulated, no restrictions, all you need is to prove yourself that you're good at the job and can do it, is IT. IT is probably the only industry today that you don't need a degree to actually be employed. Yeah. Did you hear what I said? So Yaya Harun, anybody watching me right now, you can actually just pick your own time using YouTube videos or taking advantage of all these free boot camps and study your stuff. You don't need to show nobody you have a master's, a PhD, just show them you can do the job. And guess what? An employer will hire you. Right from wherever you are in the world, will hire you. Yeah. I personally believe that there is something about Nigerians we can learn. If you ask me my honest opinion, I'll tell you that Nigerians and Kenyans are leading the way for IT. If you see the aggressiveness with which these our brothers are actually venturing, they know IT is where the monies are all made right now. Yeah. Right? I've seen so many young Nigerians who come here with different backgrounds, and you see all of them switch. A lady who is a nurse from Nigeria came here and just switched all the way straight into IT. Yeah. And they are not just doing it for the money. They find that it's one area that is less regulated. Imagine coming into Canada as a medical doctor and having to wait for so many years just to go through the regulation. Well, whilst waiting, you could be taking advantage of some of these boot camps if you really have an interest in there. Yeah. I recommend you follow Jay Kwashi. Jay Kwashi, my big brother, also somebody with a different background, all the way from Ghana, been through different countries. He's been in Netherlands, he's lived in Netherlands, he's lived in the UK, he's moved to the US. Now, the special thing about people like Jay Kwashi and all the other guys out there in Canada and stuff is that they have taken it upon themselves to mentor new Africans, immigrants, to go into areas like this, to go into industries like this. Remember, there's no pressure. Don't go into IT if you're not. It's not a thing for just making money. It is real work. These guys have to sit and study, learn how to code, learn how to do this stuff. But the most important thing is that, you see, it's one of the industries you don't need school fees to go and stop. They are actually sponsoring you. Just imagine a company paying you $2,000 a month, giving you a laptop, right? Paying you continuously for 3 months, and after that, guaranteeing you a job, guaranteed job. How?
So let me say, but IT, as you said, you don't need a degree. You can self-learn on your own.
You can self-learn.
There are so many materials today in any domain in IT. For example, before I joined the second bootcamp, I was AWS certified. Today, I'm also Azure certified. I hold a System Administrator Associate in Azure. I hold the beginner certification in Azure. This I learned on my own. In fact, I would say that in my team, I'm the only one that has the Azure System Administrator Associate in my team. And then a lot of people ask me, like, how do you get the time to study? Why do you study this? But because in our blood, we have that blood to hustle, to become the best we want to be. So there are so many opportunities to
look at him here. Make no think say they have they listen to Don Jazio. See him here. This guy is straight up, man. He and his other brother, Shawn Michaels, I like to call him Sheun. These guys are on the move.
Just a little background about my friend Sheun. Sheun also came from banking experience. He used to work in Fidelity Bank before we both came to Canada. But when he came here, because I was going into cloud, he went into cybersecurity. And he did a lot of trainings and stuff. And today he works as a security analyst in a very big company.
In fact, I think he even has 2 jobs, right?
Yeah, he has 2 jobs. Two jobs now.
He's doing 2 of them at the same time at home, right? Yeah, he's serious, man. Yeah. These guys are just serious. Straight hustlers mindset. The idea here is to empower people so that, hey guys, when you come here, don't be stuck. Even if you come as a college student, listen, if you come here as a college student, don't say, I'm going to wait until. Whilst you are home, reduce the time you used to watch Atawale. Reduce it. The time you used to watch all these TV shows, blah, blah, blah. Reduce that time. Use that Wi-Fi. Learn. Boot camps are there. Take part. Do. Acquire some skill on the side. The world is changing. And this industry, they pay 6-figure incomes. Most of them will start you off close to 6 figures, meaning over $100,000. So Why won't you start that? You're working from home. You could be wearing your boxer shorts and working from home. You see what I mean? Sweet, sweet life.
Yeah.
Where's
And the
your
good thing
brother?
about it with IT is that, IT is not just like one industry. Like we have maybe manufacturing one industry, banking one industry. Every company now is leveraging IT.
Every company is leveraging IT.
You don't need to even work in a tech company. You can work, for example, like I work in a bank, but I work in the tech team of the bank.
You could be in a hospital,
You
but
could
tech.
be in the medical. I work in.
You could be with government, but tech.
Exactly. So there are so many opportunities. You can do in tech. So it's always good to like try to build yourself. You don't have to go into development. There are so many domains in IT. We have BA, business analyst. We have data analyst. We have Scrum Master. There are lots of domains. So you don't need to. One of the fears is that people are afraid to code.
People are afraid to.
Because it's quite tough. But you don't need to write code.
You don't need to write code.
You can be a BA. It's always good to learn one programming language, but if it's not something you have a flair for, you can go into being a Scrum Master. These guys earn a lot of money too, or BA, so there are so many other things you can do. You can go into UI, UX, and all those kind of things. So
yeah, man.
The key word is just to build yourself.
I'm so happy for you, right? When you see this man cruising his Tesla tomorrow, just know that he paid a price, right, to get here. If you listen to all the things he's done, he didn't come here to joke. Or you can't kind of say they can't watch skyscraper.
No.
You can't kind of say they go clap, go just chill.
No, at all.
But where is your brother by now, though? He's supposed to be here with you, but I know he's somewhere. Where is he right now?
He's in Manitoba.
What is he doing? What did they do there?
On vacation.
He's on what?
Vacation.
Vacation. Sheon, I know you are in Manitoba. Enjoy your vacation. Enjoy. See ya. This is Choco Millionaire. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you are subscribing, you're hitting the like button, and tell a friend about it. We must change the narrative for Africans. It is true that most of us travel abroad, we start from the bottom, but we remain the bottom for so long, right? Cleaners and stuff. There is no excuse now. There's no excuse. You don't have money to go to school, there's no excuse. There are companies willing to train you. Are you willing to learn? Chinedu has told you his story. And I know we can easily make the switches and also be collecting the big monies here and there. 6 figures, $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. And also have enough time to also go on vacation. Like his friend Shewon is on vacation right now in Manitoba chilling, whilst he decided to come here. All right. God bless you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Good.